So here we are in the final. So this is Phenom versus Stan Gask, and this is the same CAD Blue list that we saw last time. So right now, the Phenom is the only undefeated player in the tournament. So if he wins this round, he wins the 2K. If Stan wins, we got a whole lot of what's going to happen going on.
Yeah, we'll have a very large mess of X1s that is going to be fighting over tiebreakers. So it'll be interesting.
There are a large number of people that are riding on Stan right now to win, Stan included, to win this game. How do you feel about this matchup of Quinlan Tarkentown versus CAD Blue?
Well, it's a little bit interesting that CAD Blue is, very surprising for Meadow State. It seems to be a lot different compared to, your teammates' list on, like, the Colossus deck.
Yeah.
Quinlan, traditionally does best into, more of the unit-heavy decks, probably more similar to, the CAD Colossus. I imagine it'd be better because that's more of a tempo deck.
Yeah.
From seeing, Phenom's list, it looks a lot more to like a hard control list, plus other stuff. Apparently he's playing like multiple Avengers main, stuff like that. So we'll see. I can imagine. I don't know necessarily what Stan's playing. Of course the standout card probably for the Quinlan deck is going to be landing a Crate Dragon, whether if he has it or not. And we'll have to find that out.
Yeah, we see the Gorilla Soldier on turn 2. This card has really impressed me this weekend in general. A lot, often in Jango, but even in this Quinlan list. How have you felt about that card? It's one of the big low-cost jump to light speed cards that's kind of jumped out at me. How do you feel about that card in general?
I've played it in my Jango lists, and it's been great. It's very interesting. It puts a mind game on the opponent that you really have not seen in the game before. Like, I guess the CAD decks do it similarly, but the fact that it'll on top afterwards is interesting, especially with the choices we saw him here already with him sending the damage into base. He had the line of sending into Boba, targeting the Boba. I probably would have done that, just because Boba now here can be completely terrifying. Like this Ghost Soldier now has to not do anything, otherwise that Boba just gets it for free. And so it's, a kind of a race game we're going to be playing here. Can we, do enough damage to them while this Boba just slowly kills all our units off?
Yeah, it's an interesting decision by Stan because he could have attacked the Gorilla Soldier into the Boba and Tarkentown. I guess he still has that option if he wants. Bazine coming out here from Phenom.
That was a fast Bazine on the
fast on the Ahsoka, so that lets me think that Phenom may have units in hand.
Yeah.
And Stan still has the line of going into Boba, Tarkentown. Are there any other specific lines that you think Stan may be saving his Tarkentown for? And any big threats come to mind?
Traditionally, the best thing like typically I'll do, especially for an unknown, you want to try to get the best value of it. Clearly it's not aggro deck, so we don't need to kill the first unit.
Yeah.
So you always just want to have, put 3 damage onto at a 3/5 at most.
Yeah.
It's like I would be fine with it. I don't know, of course the idea is it's tough when, your unit itself is the one that has damage.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, throwing the unit into it, but essentially we just traded the Gorilla Soldier for 7 damage. It's a lot. It could be, it could be fine.
Yeah. And I guess really we traded the Gorilla Soldier for 4 damage, right? Because Phenom put the 3 indirect on himself, and so Stan had a couple of opportunities he could have gone in there. So it's interesting to see how that plays out. I think Stan is just trying to get there as quick as he can before he gets the Avengered and whatnot. Jesse and Chad asking what place this is for. So this is the 7th round of Swiss, but this tournament does not have a top cut. So Phenom on the right on CAD Blue is currently the only undefeated player. We have 65 players, so just over the cut to get to 7 rounds. But last round, Stan was the other undefeated player and lost his pair down. So now there's one undefeated player, and if Stan wins here, then there's a whole lot of X1s to figure out. If Phenom wins, then he is the clear winner of the 2K. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, it's going to be entirely based on tiebreakers. Traditionally, not the math major on the team, but, traditionally we review, Stan's position as quite good, because he only lost in last round, or I believe 2 rounds ago.
Last round. Yeah.
Actual last round. His, tiebreakers should be very strong.
Yeah.
So this could be viewed as, the finals match here. Of course, small percentages can, outweigh a different player from taking first as well.
Yeah, it is likely that this is the finals, and it's also possible that Stan wins and Phenom still wins the tournament, because I do not believe head-to-head is considered in tiebreakers for this game. So we'll have to wait to see the standings afterwards. But Stan is carrying the hopes and dreams of a lot of one-loss players right now that all want to have a chance to win this.
Yep. So, as always, the misery of playing into Villainy Blue is Power of the Dark Side, and Stan has walked right into it.
And you know that he obviously knew that this was an option. And he wanted to deploy his leader before this, and it's kind of one of the Quinlan specific things where he wants to get extra pings in, potentially wants to do that. What do you think? Kind of I guess what do you think are the rewards for flipping early versus trying to play around Power of the Dark Side? How do you handle? How do you handle weighing what you think your opponent might have? I know this is a very deep question. It's hard to just answer, but you've got to weigh different options. Like how far behind do you think you have to be before you say, okay, I make them have the power versus I'm going to play the line that's best for me in this scenario, and if they have it, they have it.
I think you're always going to be playing, the best line into it, so I would probably base it based on his hand. Mm-hmm. Flipping first is going to be rewarding, cards like Plo, and stuff like our ambushers on 5, because we want to try to get that incremental ping to hopefully finish off one of them.
Yeah.
Here in this sentence, the fact that we followed a Guerrilla Soldier, it feels like, the Quinlan, first deploy was bad. It should have just been, the Guerrilla Soldier. But unfortunately, here's the downside of Guerrilla Soldier. Bobo, a great example of it is that, 2 damage was put on the Bazine that already had 1 damage on it, and a 3rd damage gets put onto the Boba. Yeah. Which players are currently discussing over because they didn't know exactly what damage is on what.
Yeah. So it looks like they are doing that, and then Boba attacking the Guerrilla Soldier.
There's the Guerrilla Soldier, and now Boba is finally removed off of the board.
We see a Leia here. We also see a Falcon. I think one reason Stan might have flipped early as well is because he had a lot of options that turn, so he wanted to kind of get some more information before he made his plays.
Yeah, he has got a Force Throw in hand, which we'll see how long he keeps that in, because only Ahsoka and Plo now will be the Force enablers, unless he's playing the Ezra, which I know a lot of lists aren't.
I'm not sure on his exact list. I know I've seen it, but I am very tired right now. I don't remember.
No, it's all good. We just play, predictions, trying to guess exactly, what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
This board state is incredibly favored for CAD. We have gone through the first 4 turns, and only 7 damage has happened, and that only came off the Guerrilla Soldier that had it on turn 2. So, the control deck has done its amazing best at controlling. So
there's a Bazine. We see the Force Throw, the K2SO, Millennium Falcon, and a Waylay.
Yeah.
At first glance, it feels like K2 is the most threatening. Falcon could potentially threaten damage this turn. What are you taking out of this hand?
Debate on the,
Well, he takes the Waylay.
Okay. All right, we're... That reads to me like we're slamming a big unit next turn and just... you're trying to start ending this game.
Yeah, we see a Lom Pike in hand for Phenom, so he may go for that this turn. He kept it in hand, so this may have been his resource call for this turn. I'm going to go two Bazine, flip CAD, 4 Lom Pike.
Yep.
That curve fits out really well, and then having a Lom Pike, that unit is so disruptive. So it turns all of the little units that Stan has into just these shield carriers that let Lom Pike trade into every unit that Stan cares about. That card has been really impressive, both in this version and in George and Guy's CAD Colossus version.
Yep. Stan, though, is getting good value. The new 2-drop that a lot of us have been trying, the Land Speeder, has easily taken out the Bazine with help of the Quinlan ping.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be interesting here. Trying to get a view. All right, yeah, we have 4
we have the 4 Loms, so he's not going the Lom Pike. One of the Loms.
Yep. This cleans the board, we know.
Yeah. He knows about the K2, but he can also just kill the K2 with CAD Leader if he wants to.
It's a high percentage that he's going to be doing so.
Yeah. Oh, he just claims. Interesting. So he has another plan for this K2. I think is that a power no glory only results maybe in hand? There's a blue removal spell. He might have claimed just because he wants to get the K2 death trigger for himself. If that was a no glory, then
be huge.
Yeah, exactly. Discard a card from Stan and run him lower on resources. Fiendlom, I see you, Sharky.
Yeah, this, the No Glory has been used to great results this weekend.
Yeah.
You always never see it coming.
Yeah. I was playing when I played in the 3v3, I was playing on Piet, and I was always terrified of that card because I love Annihilator, but I don't want it to get No Gloried. Exactly. I don't want to give them the Annihilator death trigger. But yeah, you see that against the K2s and against the my mind is breaking, the Ruthless Raider.
Yep.
K2
Ruthless
and Ruthless Raider.
Yeah. Lurking Tie, a lot of
Chewbacca pilot.
A lot of good things that it's very annoying to see.
Yeah.
So, currently Phenom is quite handily in the lead in this match, and we're trying to see what answers could Stan have to try to pull the favor towards him again. And traditionally it's Quinlan will have a lot of hand hate. The force throw in hand will help with that. We would have loved K2 dying on our side to have them discard a card. You want to try to just drain the control player of cards.
Yeah. Yeah, and we also, I think, see why Phenom took the Waylay and left the K2 in hand. He already had the answer for it, and he said, "Okay, I know, and I have an answer for these things.
Yep.
I'm gonna eventually want to build my board out, and don't want you to have your control options. That's for me."
Yeah. No, that's pretty straightforward.
Kyle in chat saying he no glory to Super Laser Tech. That is disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, I feel sorry for your opponent. So we're now having to Resource 7, or Resource 8, I believe now.
Yeah.
So we're getting closer and closer to, villainy blues. Many scary ships in space, Venture being the classic. The other good... This is the kind of big issue, though, with Quinlan, is that it has very little late game. Very little, doesn't have Jango's TDR and sneak package.
No Devastators.
It doesn't play, any of the, all the CAD variants, like whether they're green playing, Reinforcement Walker, Maul, or just CAD, the normal thing with the CAD unit, or, in this case, probably also Avenger.
Yeah.
So you really wanted to put the pressure on early.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's the key for these kinds of blue villain control decks. They can have a lot of answers, but I feel like you need to get to the point where they have to answer every single thing, where anything you play puts them in check, and they have to have the answer right away. If you give them this much time, it's going to be a lot easier for them to kind of assemble not only an answer, but the most efficient answer.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big difference. And if you make them scramble and use 2 cards and 2 attacks to kill 1 unit to not die in a turn, then that's great. Versus if you say, okay, I have time, I can take hits if I want. I'm gonna spend this card here. I'm gonna wait for a different card there. Like when you put the pressure on them, I think it really changes the equation and makes them have to draw the perfect answer at the perfect time.
Yeah. So we get the, nice, perfect view of Stan's hand, 2 pose.
Yeah.
Which, if, left alive, can be very strong. We want to definitely be using that to, of course, threaten the board state, but also to start stripping the CAD player's hand.
Yeah.
We are at 8 resources, so, we'll probably be getting it at least last action, hopefully.
Yeah. And it's a kind of a luxury for Phenom here, I feel like, that he has so many units, he can just send in these little pokey attacks that say, no, Stan, spin your resources. No, Stan, spin your... And he just makes sure that Stan has to act first. He doesn't give Stan the luxury of where Phenom has to be the one to blink first, which I think is really nice for Phenom here.
No, he is most definitely in the favorite spot. We don't know necessarily, we haven't seen anything of Phenom's hand, but I can definitely see the board state here getting tricky if this Poe can get an attack off. If we see, next round, the Poe getting that attack off, that could be where we start turning advantage towards the Quinlan player again.
Yeah, definitely. And Poe is also scary because it's one of the few units that can kill CAD leader in one attack when he's undamaged.
But I believe I do see, though, the answer for the Poe in hand for Phenom. It looks like he's got Jump Master, Sidon, and what looks to be, right up front, the Relentless Pursuit.
Ah,
which will be most difficult.
Yeah, because also even if you get the second Poe attack off into the Relentless Pursuit, now you have to discard an extra card to kill the shield, then discard a card to deal 2, and then honestly, I feel like at that point Phenom is okay with that. They said, "Oh, you played your Poe and discarded 2 cards just to kill my CAD leader, and then unique rule your Poe."
Instead, though, he goes with the Relentless Pursuit on CAD.
Oh, interesting.
That.
So he captures the Falcon. He had the Sedan Pilot, which could have kind of neutered the Falcon a bit.
Yeah, or the Jump Master, getting the cat, the ping, which would have dealt with stuff, but now he's put in a terrible position. Of course he can throw, the Crafty Smuggler and his leader into the Poe to deal with it, which probably he's most likely going to be forced to doing.
Yeah.
We cannot let that Poe attack next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting play. I mean, I think that a lot of control players just get, as an aggro player, I love it when control players get really annoyed by Falcon because I just get to bounce it to my hand. You're going to Super Laser Blast? No, I'm going to bounce it again. And it really helps with this action economy thing that we've been talking about. So maybe that's part of what Phenom was thinking, where he says, I need to make Stan spend resources, and constantly letting him bounce this, where he spends an action to play it, spends an action to attack for 3. It's so much economy that makes Phenom act first. Maybe that was just, he basically got annoyed into into capturing the Falcon. Yeah.
It's interesting because we had that Jump Master that quite easily was going to be handling that Falcon.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Falcon can hit it over course of 2 turns, but, that's killing in 2 turns.
I think he also had the Sedan Pilot in hand, so he could have played the Jump Master, waited for Falcon to attack, and then Sedan to kill the Falcon potentially.
It does look, you got a glimpse at his, resource row, and it does look that he has the Blaster, so he has the option here of
just
Blaster CAD, kill Poe. He's probably debating right now if he wants to,
Looks like he's doing it, yeah.
He's going to be careful with his hand here.
Yeah. Stand making sure to keep things separate. Yeah. That's always why I like the hand hider token.
Well,
whenever I always move my hand up to the side when I'm doing that just to make sure.
What are you feeling here? You feeling base or Poe? Because he's clearly thinking it.
Poe. I think you're so far ahead.
Yeah.
The ways that Stan gets back into this game are already kind of limited, and I think you just you don't need to get into a race situation. You need to get into I'm going to slam the door shut situation. My top decks are better than yours. I'm not going to give you an inch on this board state. I'm just going to.
Yep.
I'm not going to put my foot on the gas. I'm going to keep your foot off the gas. I'm going to take the keys out of the ignition, throw them out of the window, and have you running around the highway looking for the keys while I'm just sitting here doing whatever I want. That's where I would want to be if I was Phenom. And
it looks like, Stan also agrees with us and has shipped it in. So we're heading to game 2 for that.
Stan was really tired of how long my metaphor took and decided to go to game 2. So we're going to switch to our backup feature match now. So these are 2 X and 1 players playing each other.
Yeah, I believe this is Will, my teammate on Sabine ECL. I believe it's versus Mephisto.
No, this is Jeff Balloon Hands.
Okay.
I'm fairly so this is a Bothan versus McClunky. Yeah.
Sabine versus Jango. I believe this is game 2 because I was checking the eyes and it looks like the thing. We do not know necessarily who took game 1. I think I'll quickly check.
Okay. While Tyler's checking, I'm just going to say that the Bothans are clearly favored because this is a Bothan team. I'm going to say that while the McClunky team member is out of the room and can't hear me. But yeah, so we have Sabine Green ECL against Jango Tarkentown.
Well, as expected from the Jango versus Sabine matchup, this is game 3. So we have already blown past 2 games before the CAD Quinlan has gone through. And we're seeing, the middle part where we're already at 4 resources. So we're on to turn 3.
Yeah, and we see the Bright Hope getting dealt with. Bright Hope used to be so decent into Jango, and it just feels like it doesn't do as much as it used to. And Jango just goes so much taller now than it did last set.
Oh yeah, the top end is incredible. As a Jango player myself, the consistency from set 3 to set 4 has changed drastically.
So starting with the attack of the cat, this is the first damage on Jeff's base. Sabine has really been playing the control here. It feels like with
yeah, playing the control, or Jango's been playing the tempo quite well. It's tough to say. You know, things that could have been an issue for Sabine to get in damage here would be, you know, Gamma Guards is a classic you can see, or the Land Speeder.
For a cause.
Yeah, well,
those are big cards. If he's looking for big cards, he found them.
Yeah. We would like them to be in our hand here to play them now, but...
Yeah. I feel like you just ditch the A-Wing and keep the other 3, potentially. Or you pick one of the Poe or record that you want to ECL and just keep the K2 because it's so versatile. Like, I feel like he might keep a lot of these.
I feel like you're probably just keeping record at this point. You know, I don't think, you know, coming the next turn you're going to be ever ECLing Poe. You know, because it's only going to be dealing with Jango, you know, just afterwards. So it feels like we're going to be... Oh, we're keeping 3.
He does keep 3, and he puts... He's going to...
Poe,
so he's going to draw a Poe
K2.
record next turn. So I think I like this because it gives him options. So next turn, he's going to be able to Poe or Wrecker ECL, whichever he wants, and then he knows he's going to be able to follow that up.
Yeah, this Jango is getting definitely murdered very fast in the next turn. I feel it's going to be Wrecker coming off. You know, the K2, we're going to see what we can hit. Devastator's the one offline. Radiant, if he's on that, would be amazing here.
We see some chips. There are definitely some hits in here. He can't play the Devastator. He's only on 5.
That, you know, we're trying to be pushing damage here, clearly as a Jango player. Like, this is, you know, Sabine has not put on the fast offensive, so we just need to push it while we can.
Oh, yeah, I like this. He kind of whiffed on the TDR. He knows that there's a wrecker coming, and he's saying, if you wrecker me, you're losing in space.
Yeah, now we're just a surprise strike from lethal.
Yeah. And there's another space unit. Could bounce the Cassian.
Yep, so we see, you know, ECL wrecker. Does he have surprise strike or daring raid? Or the Ruthless?
So it will here. He gets the wrecker, but he's at the point where he's gonna have to claim and also deal with this this Kylo's tie. And unfortunately for us, we know that he has we know that he had the Poe and the K2,
the Ruthless in hand. So that was it. All right, well, you know, as always, Jango, that fast offensive, a lot of damage early on. You know, kind of puts Sabine definitely at the back front.
Yeah, it looks like their other game hasn't started their game 2 yet, so that's nice of them. But yeah, solid play by Will. I am interested in the for a cause keeping 3 cards on top. It's what I would have done, which makes me think maybe it wasn't correct. Because I often don't make the correct play. But we can see how it kind of came back against him there, where all of a sudden he needed to find answers really quickly, but he knew what his top couple of cards were, and they weren't the right answers.
Yeah, you know, in that situation, you're kind of screwed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, there's really
sure.
no good option for the for a cause.
Yeah.
You know, like, your best line is Riker kill Jango. You know, it kills, it stops you from being dead, you know, first action. And, you know, you just got to hope that they don't have anything else.
Yeah.
You know, the hopes there for Will would have been, you know, no Ruthless, nothing in space, you know, to finish off that turn, and just hope to then splam a Bright Hope next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It goes back to a little bit to the conversation we were having about Power of the Dark Side, right? Where when can you afford to play around certain things, and when can you say, if you've got it, you've got it, but this is my path to victory. And I think for Will, keeping those cards on top was his path to victory. He says, okay, I need you to not TDR into something big, not have Ruthless Raider in your hand, and if that happens, then these cards are what actually gets me to victory. We saw he was behind on damage, and those were the cards that kill Jango and catch him up on damage. So I like the play that he made, and I think he had to make it based on the board state that we saw.
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty straightforward. You know, the only thing you could think otherwise would be like Rebel Salt into Bright Hope on that turn, but it's tough. So, back to our feature, our first seed, the undefeated Phenom versus Stan. It's going to be...
One was bad against Jango, and then your teammate Philip said, you guys are dumb. One was bad against Jango, and then your teammate Philip said, you guys are dumb.
Yeah. He played, I think, like 7 Jangos, and I think only lost to 2 of them. One at our team event and 1 in the Swiss pool.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, but then the thought is that Han also beats these control decks. So I think at least a lot of the talk that I was some people were wanting to play control and hoping that Jango beat down the Han. So a lot of people described it as a rock paper scissors meta, but I don't think that's really accurate. And I mean, I think Philip showed why with Han beating the Jangos, as well as you can see a lot of these other games. So I'm interested to see how much do you think control may be on the rise after this weekend, both here and the results that we've seen from the Milan sector.
I don't necessarily know if we're going to see the largest inclusion. Yeah, that was the worst case we're going to see from right there. Was Stan had a great X beater that dealt with the unit on Phenom's side, but then Phenom had the Cloud Rider that then dealt with both of the units on Stan's side. So board is clear.
Yeah.
We are getting to 4 resources here. So Stan has a lot of good units on 4 resources. The K2, the Ahsoka, the Kira. All of these cards are great into control.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see the K2 in hand. Going with the Ahsoka first, so just valuing the discard.
Yeah, we get the discard immediately up front. No more, having him get us no glory value.
Yeah. Eekfoil, a real team player here in chat, getting sick and missing the 6K and the 2K just so that Phenom could have this chance. That's a true friend right there.
Yeah. It's definitely helping out from at home.
So we discarded the Starfighter, it looks like, from the Ahsoka trigger.
The Smuggler Starfighter.
Card has really impressed me.
Powering off Ahsoka. Yeah, no, I know George has greatly loved it, but he, of course, loves his smuggle,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But, it does good work, It helps out in space as well against all the Jangos, but...
Yeah.
It's not going to be needed into this matchup right now when we have a full ground front.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to see how good that Smuggler Starfighter can be, go back and watch the top 8 match between George the Hulk and Ian Klein Lego Pizza. That Smuggler Starfighter put in work for George. I think it was top 4 actually, but top 4. It was huge. It was huge in that matchup.
So here we are, back onto 5 resources.
Yeah.
We're now playing into the same scenario we had game 1. Do we flip Quinlan? First action. All right, we just saw the power. Power. Do we, what are we banking on? Do we bank on it? No. We're clearly not letting him have it this time. We're going to be playing out our hand.
And also nice, just leading on a smaller unit that, if you power, whatever, it's fine. It's just a Sabine. Yeah. I'm still going to have a 3-drop to play. I'm still going to be able to flip after this. So really putting the pressure back on Phenom to try to figure out what he wants to do.
We know 2 cards in his hand are, I believe, a Force Throw and a Poe. Poe could have been the other option you could have gone for this turn, but of course is bad into both Fel and Power.
Yeah.
What would be great here is if we can get another if the 3rd card in our hand is another 2 cost, it'll allow us to deploy Quinlan, swing, Force Throw, get and also deploy another 3rd unit to the board.
Yeah, that's a good point. Doesn't just have to be Sabine into 3-drop. Could be Sabine 2-drop Force Throw. We are seeing 1 resource because it's going to be it is a Force Throw
before we flip the Quinlan is interesting.
I feel like with this, Stan is saying, I don't care about the 1 unit you have, and I'm going to play this card anyway, so I'm going to play it now.
Yeah.
Because he's making Phenom spend the resource if he's going to spend it. I actually really like that Force Throw. It basically kind of plays around the McClunky because he's saying, you're not going to get to McClunky my Quinlan. You're not going to get to McClunky any other unit that I play.
Yeah, no, it definitely played out. So now this Quinlan...
Looks like he has another Force Throw in hand as well. So Force Throw on Poe is what's in hand.
This is why, this is definitely why we did the first throw.
Yeah, it also makes it clearer for that because he could also have just deployed Quinlan and play the second Force Throw after. So,
but we do not play the Force Throw.
He saves it. I think he saves it because now also his resources line up this turn to play Poe and Force Throw.
You know, of course, this unfortunately lines up into the exactly what we're talking about, where if they have the second power, we just get got. But
I don't see a way for him to play around that, though, because his only other cards in hand are Poe and Force Throw, so...
You could have, you know, Force Throw at the end of last turn and just try to strip the cat of as many options as possible. You know, like if he has the power or whatever, but then he's down to, like, 2, maybe 1 card left in hand. So he does have the power.
Yeah.
So, you know, fortunate side here. Yeah, we're going to be...
Now we still get the Poe, and I think the Force Throw is still... Force Throw is still going to be fine just to strip the card. Or he could just claim so that he can kill this CAD leader. We'll see if he has another blaster to
deal with the
Poe.
It's looking like he does is a jetpack. Okay. That will also deal with the CAD in a much better way than Blaster could have.
Yeah. Yeah, because now his CAD leader also gets to stay damage-free for this. Doesn't have to take the 6. So it feels like Phenom is in a pretty good spot again. Still single-digit damage on his base.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we're heading on to Resource 7. We want to just see, you know, the 2-for-1 cards. We want to see Kira, we want to see Ahsoka, we want to see K2. You know, he did resource the K2 earlier because we saw it on the earlier turn.
Yeah.
It seems he got rid of it. But, we need to get value right now, right up front.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
I'm curious what he kept in hand over the K2. We saw him keep a couple of Force Throws. It could have been kind of a gamble that maybe he would be able to get some damage off the Force Throws rather than just the K2 discard with when defeated. See the Crafty Smuggler. At least it's a unit that is a little bit stickier. And then we see the Plo Koon in hand. He does not have Coordinate, though.
Looking like a possible Bazine here or a Blaster. Would be, I think, both valid choice. Yeah, Blaster base.
Now we're getting in. Now this is pod racing. This is some damage adding up right here.
Phenom is now calling the bluff. It's like, all right, I am going to be swinging 8 per turn.
Yeah.
Deal with this.
You have 25 health on your base.
He does have the Plo.
You have 2 more turns.
The Plo will help if we can set up raid. But it only does 6.
Do you just Plo and not ambush here? And now you have a Force unit for your Force Throw, and any third unit lets you... Yeah, that is what Stan goes with.
Oh, but the Relentless Pursuit on Plo.
Yeah.
This is brutal.
So now he gets a shield back on the CAD unit.
This is, like, quite close to being locked up for Phenom.
Yeah.
These tempo plays have just been brutal.
Yeah, it feels like we see the theory behind everything is Stan has tried both games, and every time Phenom seems to have the perfect answer. When Phenom doesn't have power of the dark side, Stan plays the Crafty Smuggler. When he does, Stan tries to flip. It's just like everything against these control decks. You're trying to guess what they have, and he's just been guessing wrong every time. You see the Spark now, just 3 events in hand, so nothing...
Unfortunately, Spark. We wanted to see Spark a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hilariously, both these cards are terrible for us.
Yeah.
The Forlom's
Spark
going
both.
to answer. It's going to kill Crafty.
Kill Crafty. Leave the board up. You might as well leave this CAD unit up. It's got a shield. Quinlan can't kill it.
All right, we're looking at board. We're looking for another Blaster. That's what's happening. We're swinging.
If he has another Blaster, I like it because that puts a 2-turn clock on Stan. If he doesn't have another Blaster, I kind of like keeping the CAD unit up. But we see Stan's hand, and we know that all roads lead to Rome here.
I think it's fine to swing 8. I honestly think if that Forlom gets played and kills Crafty, I could see a hand extension. That would be...
Yeah.
Especially our hand is looking like Force Throw and Waylay.
Yeah.
We will, thankfully, keep our Crafty alive.
Yeah.
And it's going to be up to Phenom's resource row. All right. So now we finally got the game state that Quinlan wants, where the control player has no cards in hand. Unfortunately, it's a deck that plays a lot of smuggles and has a 8-swinging shielded unit on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, so Stan has 9 health left on his base, and there's a shielded CAD leader that currently swings for 8.
Yep.
Looks like there's a Long Pike in the resource row for Phenom. And yeah, so Long Pike, ping the shield off the Crafty.
Don't think he replaced the resource.
I think he exhausted 5 resources and played the Long Pike and then didn't replace it.
Yeah.
So I think he exhausted 1 too many resources and then didn't replace it.
Definitely could chalk that one up to, nerves. I think,
Yeah.
he definitely sees it coming where
Yeah.
this feels quite strong. All right.
Does Stan have anything?
Falcon and Blaster does not look like it's going to be D field.
Yeah, so
and that is the hand extension.
Yeah, so Phenom gets it. Well done to Phenom. So this is a clean win of the 2K event. Phenom is now the only undefeated player.
Yep.
So we don't have to worry about we have to worry about breakers for the other spots.
Yep.
Oh, he replaced it before he played it. I've seen some players doing that as well. Yeah, so gotcha. But either way, really well played to Phenom. We may be able to get him in here for a winner's interview since we have a clean winner. And then we'll have to see how the rest of the standings shake out for the rest of the 2K. So hold tight for a second. We'll be right back and see if we can get what is a winner's interview with Phenom. All right, guys, trying to get the camera working. Doesn't seem to be working that well. It's usually this button. We've had a couple of stream issues, and I think this camera seems to be down. But camera or not, we are here with the winner of the 2K, Phenom. Ethan, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
Honestly, pretty surprised. I had a field of matchups that have been a challenge before today. Starting on Friday, my deck wasn't the same as today. I've been in the lab with Guy and George.
Oh, yeah.
We were in the lab before the event, and I really got into the smuggle package throughout the weekend. Like each day, I added a little bit more.
Yeah. We saw those starfighters.
Yeah, those today. The new addition was the jetpack, and
that's George's favorite. He played it in his PQ win in Monohan. The jetpacks have been sick from what I've seen, both in your games and his before.
Yeah, it's just like another. I mean, in the situation where he played Poe, right? I had the opportunity to have just gone base, but in game 1, I think it was, where I deliberated whether I should kill Poe or just Blaster. But I'm pretty sure if he had pitched enough cards, he could have killed my CAD.
Yeah.
Defeat the upgrade, deal 2, and then 6.
And then 6, yeah.
And so I had to respect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, between the Relentless Pursuit and then Jetpack, I've learned that it kind of reminds me of Boba's armor. You have to earn it. You have to earn it, but you can make Cad invincible for sure.
Yeah, no, it closed that game out very fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Eekfoil said in chat that he got sick so you could win this. So you gotta.
Got a lot of people to thank on the way.
You got a lot of people to thank.
Hey, yeah, no, I owe a lot of credit to my guys, Idea Squad, Bothan Network, George and D, as I said, Nick in particular. I've gotten a lot of reps into Han with him, and I got the chance to play Alex Blandon during the 3v3, and nice. All those reps definitely made that smoother experience. I knew what I was trying to accomplish, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, 3 Quinlan Tarkin Towns. I'll say this. I think the 35, the Colossus version that you've seen before today, it struggles into Quinlan because you start with one less card. The 5 HP, in my opinion, in that matchup is irrelevant. Yeah. Because it's all about, what we just saw. Like, you need to get Cad in control. You need to just become the pressure that they have to stop. Yeah. And when you're already down a card, you're that much more likely to get blown out by the Ahsoka force throws and that kind of thing. Yeah,
we definitely saw a lot of both from both this round and last round where you were on the feature match. We saw a lot of instances where you look through the 3 to 4 cards in your hand, and 2 of them are answers, and this one is so it really felt like we could feel the extra card kind of helping out in that version where you just had a lot more variety of answers. I know George and Guy like leaning heavier into the smuggle package where they lose the card but they gain more resource row. Mm-hmm. We also saw from you there was here I can play the no glory only results. Here I can play this. So I feel like we definitely saw that from you, the kind of increase in options that you could get with your version.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like I don't have any heals in my deck anymore, so honestly, like, the Smuggling Starfighter feels like a heal because you're just mitigating the damage. And I've had other sets where the -3 into a leader like Jango or Quinlan, you get free attacks into their unit, and that's important because, like, especially in Quinlan with the Han unit, you have to respect. You don't want to get shot first by Han. It's going to be really tough if that happens.
Or same thing with Plo Koon Ping. Like you've got to keep your big units above certain thresholds at all times.
Yeah, and you still get the ping from the smuggle row, and it's basically like I get to hold my answers, watch them do a little bit more. I'll say one thing: when I was playing the, I guess it was the match before this, was it Lao?
Yes, Lao from McClunky. Yeah.
In game 2, I had a really funny scenario. So I have a 1-of Annihilator in the sideboard, and I had a second Avenger, and I thought both were relevant to the matchup, but we went, to that many resources. Yeah. But there was a time in the second game where I played Bazine from the row to look at his hand, and that's when he showed me 3 Cads and a Overwhelming Barrage, and the card that replaced Bazine was my 1-of Annihilator, and that was so frustrating because if he just played the Cad, I would have had a kill on all 3, and I had to grind through that. He kept capturing my stuff because he
kept coming back. Yeah, he would not go down without a fight in that game. Yeah, last round for sure.
The Devastator into Devastator, I just had to use all my 2/2s in space and just chip away.
Yeah, he captured him. You'd free him, attack him for 2. He'd capture him. You'd free him, attack him for 2. It was a fun game to watch.
It was a blast. I had a lot of fun. The competition was fierce, and I don't know. This meta is awesome.
Yeah.
Just gotta dodge Jango.
Easier said than done.
Dodge Jango.
Just gotta dodge Jango. Famous last words. Anything else you want to say to the stream?
No, I just shout out Frank, shout out Bothan Network for hosting such an awesome event. It's been a super fun time. Nick and I flew out from Oklahoma, and our teammate for the 3v3, Jake, he flew out all the way from Fresno, and we've been prepping and excited to meet all these people we've gotten to play online and gotten to chat through on Discord calls and that kind of thing. And so this is awesome for the community to just I feel like it was just such a concentrated room of skill, and
the level here has been, and just the level of competition here, the amount of you can't swing a stick without hitting a PQ winner all weekend. It's been wild. Just the level of competition, the amount of teams that are here, McClunky, Bothan, KTOD, Sekrit, you guys, like so many top players are here. It's been insane.
Absolutely. Well, Thanks for having me on here. Thanks for the interview. Thanks for casting for us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for coming on.
Great talking to you, and congrats again on winning the 2K at the Bothan Invitational. So good job. And guys, that takes us to the end of our stream. This is the end of the Bothan Invitational. We've gone through the team tournament. We've gone through the 6K. We've gone through the 2K now. Man, Tyler, with me, how have you been feeling about this weekend overall?
Well, I played Magic 2019 thing. I got to watch commentary and videos of old, the age-old players, talking about team events and all this stuff of going to the things. Now that Magic's gone to a lot more online and more like sweaty, grindy, I never got to experience that.
Yeah.
So coming here, this weekend with my whole group and boys, staying in an Airbnb together, testing, playing in the team event has been amazing.
Yeah.
I think it is the precursor to hopefully a lot more fun events that'll hopefully spread, because this was amazing. It was an amazing weekend.
Yeah.
I hope it was amazing content for everyone watching at home. I hope everyone had a great time. You could definitely walk around the room today and ask anyone how their weekend's been, and they'll probably all be positive.
Yeah, I've never seen Alex Blandon as excited as he was when he was talking about how much fun everything's been. And yeah, I've played team events in Magic, and I'm really glad that came to SWU as well, because those team events are so much fun. And then also just large prize events are fun. Trying to gather as many competitive people as you can. I think most of the people here didn't even care about the money as much. It was about, how many people are going to be there? Who's going to be there? I need to play against those people. I need to test my chops. I need to see what set format is going to be. I need to prep for sectors and regionals and all that stuff. So yeah, it has been an insane weekend. It has been a ton of fun.
You want the champion in here for an interview?
We already did.
Oh, you already did it? I didn't know. Sorry.
You want to come? We're giving our
we're
final
giving
send-off
the farewell.
Oh, you're going to farewell? All right, well, hop out, Tyler. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you.
Good.
Tyler, thank you so much for
Tyler,
casting,
so
man.
much
It
for
has been a ton of fun.
casting.
Thank you very
from
much.
McClunky Gaming. Thank
Have
you,
a nice
Tyler.
night.
Great. How did you? I bet he did a great job.
He was amazing. Tyler was awesome. Tyler always is awesome. All the McClunky guys are awesome.
Let's switch the...
The cam, it doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, let me see if I can...
Yeah.
Oh, what happened to it?
No idea.
Oh, Courtney leaves for a minute. Looks what...
I know. The
weird.
Bothan network glue falls apart as soon as Courtney leaves for a second. I can't get the camera to work.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Caster cam. That's this one, right?
Yes.
Weird. Technical difficulties.
It's all right. Well, I am here with Frank Myers.
Yes, you talk while I try to fix it. And we'll both talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm here with Frank. And Frank, how do you feel that this weekend has gone? It's been amazing for me from what I could see. Everyone seems to have enjoyed it. How do you think the weekend went?
I could not be happier.
Yeah.
Maybe if a Bothan team had won the 3v3. If George had finished the finals out against Philip, numbers guy. But no, a joke, because it wasn't about results this weekend. It wasn't about who actually took home all the prize money or the play mats. Let me tell you what this was about. This was about the social aspect of the best competitive players coming together. Star Wars Unlimited is such a wonderful game, but it's also a wonderful game because of the community that we've built and getting to see our friends and getting to bond and socialize. Because when we go off the air from streaming, that's when a lot of the most fun part happens. Is we all get to spend time together.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, TCGs are better played with friends. And for us who are competitive, that's what the 3v3 is. That's kind of how we manifest playing with friends, by having two teammates trying to beat your three-person team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I really am happy that we kind of kicked off for the history of this TCG, the history of Star Wars. Will always have been the very first team tournament ever. Yeah. And the fact that people gave away so much of their effort. I mean, we had so many people. There we go. Courtney just fixed it. We just needed Courtney to get back. Hey guys, we're back. We made it. We're here.
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable amount of people coming together to put the work in so we could socialize, bond. Overall, just could not be happier.
Yeah.
The stream numbers have been astronomical with views and people wanting to talk and see what we're doing. The charity playmat. $800?
$1,600. Don't forget about.
Well, there is a matching donation to make it a $1,600 donation to the charity, but one serialized playmat was sold for $800 from this event.
Kyle Petchcock will be happy.
Yes, the SWU artist that did our That Is a Moon art.
Yeah.
So, fantastic. I mean, I'm continuously blown away. The love from the community we've been getting.
Yeah.
So many people just inundating us with that positive energy. It's just really fun to see Star Wars Unlimited, which to me is the best mechanically designed TCG there is.
100% agree.
For a skill player that wants to beat someone because they're a better player, not because of luck of what they're drawing.
Yeah,
This
unless
is
you play
much
TDR.
Don't start with me. Don't get me started. I will go. I'll go off. You know I will.
We only have a week before the next sector strength, so we can't spend that much time talking about it.
So we have this alignment occurring though, where we have this wonderfully designed mechanical benefit of TCGs and Star Wars Unlimited, and then we have the community base now that's coming together. We have to marry them together with this wonderfully designed card game. Now we have to build a wonderful community to play it with.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw this weekend. We saw a community come together to play the game we love playing.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Yeah, that's what made it a huge success.
Yeah.
And part of that community is people watching on the stream and participating in the stream chats. You guys are part of that community.
It's like PBS. This is brought to us by viewers like you.
Viewers like you. Yes. No, fantastic. I think it's time to give the playmat. Right?
Yeah.
To
you want me to get Phenom in
Ethan.
here?
Yeah, want to get
You already
Phenom?
had him in here?
Yeah, we gave
already
him
did?
an
Okay.
interview with him.
I'll go out and give it to him then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think that does it
that
for
does
us
it.
here.
We're about to go off the air for Battle of BIATL,
That's
the
it for
first
BIATL.
ever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're already out there talking about, do we do this one again? And if we can get a schedule from FFG far enough ahead of time, we're open to doing it again.
Well, we're down to do it again. We just need to make sure we're doing it when it's not going to overlap with other
we don't
events,
want to conflict with FFG in any way. We don't want to conflict with SCG, any of the other organizations already doing events.
Exactly.
We want to find a place on the calendar that we are just our spot. And if we can, and people really do respond as well as they have this weekend to what we did, then I think, I think we could find another weekend maybe
I think so
to
too.
do it again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thanks for
you
joining
guys.
us.
You guys made it possible. For sure.
Thanks for joining us. This is the crew signing out.